Welcome to the news end of things. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the number of people who live in Old Fadama, Ghana's largest slum, has always been in contention. The Ghana Statistical Service is hoping this year's census would confirm the actual number of inhabitants there. But for the residents in the area, the counting exercise brings back long-held fears government may be planning to evict them from the area. Justice Beidou went into the area with census officers to see how the process happens there and what the people think of it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My service.
The census van meanders through the alleyways of Old Fadama. The loudspeakers on it has one message.
The 2021 Population and Housing Census. You count, get counted.
It's 9:30 in the night. And unlike everywhere else where the census is taking place, this is the only time officers can find people at home.
It's been very challenging because of having more than 20 people in one room. A structure, not less than 10 people living in that structure. And these are not a husband and wife. These are individuals who live as households. So here you have individual persons forming a household and being in one room. That's not less than 10. Maximum is about 30 people in a room.
The numbers here have always been estimated to be well over 100,000. As Ghana's largest slum, people here have no access to public services like healthcare or even schools. With this census expected to produce new data on the actual number of people here, hopes are high this could be the beginning of a new era in Old Fadama's development.
Hadija Awudu comes from the northern regional town of Savlugu. The slum has no public schools. She has 4 children and has had to leave 3 of them behind in her hometown so they can go to school. She's a head porter here.
There is rumor that after this census, we will be sacked from this place. We are Ghanaians too, and this is where we get our livelihood. Many of the people here use money from their work here to take care of older people back home. If they move us from here and we go back home, how will we survive?
Like her, people in the slum have always felt left behind in terms of the country's development. The land on which this slum is located belongs to the government, but has for decades become home to thousands who have deserted northern Ghana, flocking across markets in search of work. This census once again brings to the people fears of getting removed.
1 week now, people no sleep well. We are headed the people they say they will come and destroy our place, the place where they sleep. Here they sleep, and daybreak everybody go work today. We are voting. If you rally come here today, they do rally. And the people, some people they vote here, some people they vote north. If your voting time come, there are leaders there for parliament. They will bring cars. More buses come this market, and to carry the hometown people go to vote for him. Then why you people, they can't go north to vote for you? Then we come back here. When they destroy them now, where you go get?
There is no cause for alarm, says Victor Owusu, the man leading the census process here.
They were thinking that we are coming to count them and just help the regional minister to take them out of this place. But we told them, no, we are here to help them to get their numbers. And their numbers means a lot to us because here is a slum and we need to get the demographic characteristics which will help us to make plans for policy and development for them.
But even that does very little to allay fears. Justice Beidou, JoyNews, Old Fadama.
Now from there, Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee will later today begin its probe into the brutality meted out to some residents in Wa earlier this month by some soldiers. The committee says it will go ahead with the probe despite disclosure to Parliament by the Defence Minister Dominic Nitiwul that the soldiers have been investigated and punished Ranking member on the committee, James Agalga, tells JoyNews issues of improving military-civilian relationships is possible, and possible compensation for the residents will be the focus of their investigation.
What the military did was an internal investigation. They found their own culpable and have since meted out sanctions in accordance with their regulations. But the committee's work is going to be broader in scope, in that we will be looking beyond the discipline of the personnel who were involved here. We'll try to investigate and to make recommendations, probably, in relation to civil-military relations and how to improve on same. So that is a matter that didn't come up in the report the minister presented before the House. Additionally, we would be looking into maybe issues which have to do with justice for the victims, justice in terms of compensation, etc. If the committee establishes that as a result of the attacks on them by some of the personnel who have now been found culpable by the military itself, have suffered some injuries which requires that the state act in a certain way to assuage the pains that they have been through, we wouldn't hesitate to do so. I don't want to preempt anything, but I just want you to understand that the scope of work of the Committee for Defense and Interior may be broader than what the Armed Forces itself has already done. Okay. But of course, our work would also in a way, if you like, build on what they have already achieved. So we're not going to work at cross purposes, but to work to ensure that, first of all, relations are improved, civil, military, and victims of the brutalities also get justice.
When are you expected to begin work, and what will that involve? Probably visits to WA?
Yes. We have scheduled a trip to WA on Monday, God willing. And so we shall travel to WA and talk to the military, the chiefs, the people, the victims, and establish the facts that are necessary to enable us make determinations.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says his second administration will add 1,500 kilometers of asphalt roads to Ghana's road network. The president reiterated the point made earlier by the roads minister when he interacted with the chiefs and people of the Savannah region during his ongoing two-day working visit to the area. He stated that funding challenges for some of the ongoing projects have delayed their completion, but is confident that the new target for asphalt overlay projects will be achieved.
The work on the roads have stalled and in some places stopped altogether. It's a question of money, and the roads minister is redesigning his program for this year and the subsequent years of my second mandate. In the first term, we were able to add 1,200 kilometers of asphalt road to the road network of Ghana. He has committed himself to adding 1,500 additional kilometers during the second term. I am sure that I'll insist that you benefit from this extent.
The president also cut the sod for the $49 million Damongo water project to supply the residents of the Savannah region capital and its environs in July 2020, but the work has stalled. Responding to an appeal from Yagbonwura Bore Essa II, President Akufo-Addo said work on the project will begin in the first week of August.
Maura, you spoke about the demand for potable drinking water for Damongo and its environs. As you know, I've already cut the sword for the construction of the Damongo water project, which I did last year. Unfortunately, this awful COVID disease that has come has meant delays in seeing to the implementation of the project. But I'm happy to inform you that by the first week of August, the contractor will be moving onto the site and the work will begin. The construction of the Regional House of Chiefs is something that is very much on the drawing board. Very soon you will see the beginning of it.
From roads, let's talk maritime issues. And in the wake of the closed fishing season, residents of Mori, a fishing community in the Ebra Asebu Kwamankese district, have been screened and dewormed by health authorities and the Rotary Club. The exercise is expected to keep them fit and free from disease as they wait a new fishing season. The Rotary Club of Cape Coast, Anaji and Sekondi put the idea together to undertake the exercise, as most of the fisher folk have not undergone health screening and deworming for years. Richard Kwejonyako reports.
Mori is one of the largest fishing communities in the central region. The fishing season has been closed and residents are hoping upon hope towards its reopening. But the Rotary Club of Cape Coast, Anaji and Sekondi would want the people here to get fit as they wait for the closed season to be over. Nearly 500 of the fisher folk have been screened medically and dewormed. President of the Cape Coast Central Club of Rotary, Reverend Father Stephen Amwajesi, says deprived and poverty endemic communities like Mori should be supported, as many do not have the wherewithal to access health care.
People didn't know that they have various eye diseases, and by their check, I mean, some of them are even surprised, the kind of eye sickness they have or disease they have, and we are able to support them, some with some medication, some with the eyeglasses. My appeal to everyone is that from time to time we go check ourselves. Routine checks helps us to actually live better. So, but unfortunately, it is hard to come by an eye clinic. To get spectacles is not in the insurance. And so the poor woman or man living in the fishing community to get the spectacles becomes difficult.
MP for Abra Asebu Kwamankese, Elvis Maurice Donko, who is a Rotarian, says he will do more to ensure that the exercise is sustained for the good health of his people. For sustainability's sake, I will make sure I partner with my club. If it's even going to be a yearly or bi-yearly program, we are going to do that to support the people here, especially the eye screening. Because when they have a problem, when they need a spectacle or lens, people here might not be able to afford to get it. So they are getting it for free. Some of the beneficiaries spoke to JoyNews.
I've been dewormed. They have checked my eye. I've been given lens. The program is good. So from the past 6 months, I've never renewed my lens. But when this club come here, I have been able to renew my lens. I am now looking good. I am happy. Everyone too is happy here.
This place, our poverty rate is very high. We only depend on the fishing. So if there's no fishing season, that means our dependents, we have problem with feeding. Yeah, in this case, I will urge the government to come and help us.
The fishing communities await the closed season to be open so they could get back to their business. They expressed their excitement about the exercise and called for them to be done periodically. From Mori for JoyNews, Richard Kwejonyako.
Very good morning to y'all. I kind of miss you. But you know we are masters, right?
Good morning to all of you. Mama, are you sure you want me to do the review this morning? Do you want me to do the review? What I'm seeing, I don't like. If these colors, they'll put me off. I'll not do the review. Okay, right.
Patrick Gomez.
Put it there.
Have you dropped Rose? Oh, now they're all quiet. Oh my God.
We are not quiet too.
Mugusukasa.
We still lead you by 3 or 4 when it comes to number of titles. I mean, also Vim, no.
Yeah.
I said because there may be, I may be but you trail us in terms of titles. If you win a few, it's okay.
Oh my God.
It's all right. This season, you guys, especially halfway through the season, you came out with some fantastic Please, not losing in quite a while. Well, it's all good. We will take them soon.
This one's really close.
These people and these...
wait. I'm coming to deliver a speech.
Speech in the album.
On behalf of the Accra Hearts of Oak supporters worldwide, both in country and outside, we want to say thank you to our coach, a man who believed in our cause, came to join us at a point where, you know, we really didn't know how it was going to end. We thank the big guys, you know, who hired Samuel Boadu to be our coach. And he's been incredible. He's just been incredible. And we thank the players who played with their hearts. I know that we have one last game, and it really doesn't matter which way it goes, but I know that they are not going to lose. So we thank all of you for believing in us. You know, I've said it before on this show that it's a spirit when it enters you. So may the spirits of Hearts of Oak enter each one of you today. And that spirit is to say, never say die. Like, no matter what, never say die.
Okay, if it is.
If you think I am wrong, go back to when the season started and see where we are today. All glory to God. So we give praise and glory to God for how far He has brought us. Phobia.
After how many?
Massa, when I say phobia.
Barren way, this is the speech you
phobia.
deliver
say
live
masters.
On air. What?
Phobia.
Hephatis. No, but on a more serious note,
may the spirit of Hearts of Oak enter you.
Congratulations to you. It's not been easy from somewhere through the middle of the Premiership, and you know, you guys were struggling. I mean, both of us were struggling, but you guys were struggling.
We have come very far.
And then Boadu came, and everything just changed. I mean, how many games has it been? Echo, how many games has it been back to back that you've not lost?
I think about 11, isn't it?
Is it 11?
I think 11.
Because I think at a point it was, and that's incredible.
Because I think our worst has been the draws.
It's been incredible. You know, the form Accra Hearts of Oak has been in. And one thing, even when you watch the Kotoko match, the belief of the boys, they just had this belief that they could do it, you know, and on the trot, back to back. That's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we are celebrating the Italian team is that I think for about 34, 35 matches now, they've not lost a match. So for Hearts of Oak to have done that,
excuse us.
Excuse
us. Are you telling about the Italy record? I thought you'd be talking about England.
So here's the thing. No, but maybe you're not aware. I had said that Italy was very likely to win.
That must have been Friday, right? Because the last time me and you had a conversation, you were all for England.
No, my heart was with England. My head was with Italy.
I think it's been an incredible weekend.
It was a terrible weekend for me.
Thank God that the noisemakers didn't lift the cup. Either the noisemakers in England or home. Oh, we are safe, thank God.
The new High Commissioner in town will ensure that you don't go to the UK for a while.
And yes, I'll go to Italy.
Italy, yeah. But it was, in terms of sports, right before we dig into the papers, I mean, this doesn't usually happen. It was just one of those weekends for me. You know, some Brazilians were rooting for Messi to win the Copa America.
Yeah.
Because they felt that he had never won an international gong, you know, of that nature. Though he had won the Olympics, he had won, I think the under-20s. He hadn't won at this stage. I wanted Brazil to win Brazil lost. There was the Heart of Oak thing. Heart of Oak pipped us to the Ghana Premiership. Then there was England, Italy, though I knew that technically Italy, stood a better chance. I was hoping in my heart that England would win. That didn't go well. And just last night leading into this morning, I follow the NBA as well. The Phoenix Suns lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, but they still lead the series 2-1. It's the best of 7. So if you get 4, you win. But Charlie, it's like back to back from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Charlie.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's not been a good
May
sporting
the spirits of Heart of Folk enter you.
No. That spirit there, we resist.
That's the never say die spirit.
Never say die spirit. We all need it. But we don't need your food. A whole clubber, you sing your anthem or whatever in the past. Arose.
You're still sounding
your
like
roots,
this.
Your roots. Nobody arose.
Let's do the news. I thought he would be not kind. I mean, you guys lost miserably, so I thought you'd call us because that's where masters. I thought you bow and begin to call us masters.
No. But when we still have more trophies than you do
still,
in the Ghana Premiership.
So let's do the newspapers. The Daily Graphic newspaper, the Ghanaian Times, the Daily Dispatch, the Ghanaian Publisher, and Daily Post are the newspapers that I'll be going through.
For me, it will be the Daily Guide, the Finder, the Custodian, Republic Press, and the BNFT.
All right, let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Here's what's on the front page. Media promote unity. Professor Kakari disagrees Fourth Estate incites wars, and he's a communication and journalism expert. Professor Kwame Kakari, he said the media in Ghana are well positioned to promote a cohesive and harmonious society in which democracy and the rights of the people thrive. He said suggestions that the media were promoting tendencies that could plunge the country into war were far-fetched, as the facts did not support that position. A lot of what he's had to say, especially with what we're dealing with and the sort of backlash, though a lot of people don't seem to understand the genesis of it. Well, the prof has spoken. There's plenty more in the paper today. 80% households covered in census, mop-up scheduled for July 12 to 18. Student fingered in Accra Academy fire outbreaks. Bank of Ghana to pilot digital city in September. In the center spread, sports or energy drinks, which is appropriate. Well, it's a feature. UN Security Council, rotation complexity of permanent membership, develop data on persons with disabilities from census is an appeal. And this is also a feature in the center spread of the paper on the back page. Oh my God, may I? Hearts are league champions. Simplicity. Oh, Kotoko fall at Mbichim is also another headline, but that's not significant right now, is it? Story, I can't even see properly to read. Oh.
Are you squinting? you need your glasses before you can see that story.
I can't see properly. Oh, you want me to read the... Oh, Asante Kotoko's quest to maintain pressure on arch rivals Accra Hearts of Oak for the league title came to an end yesterday when they lost 1-2 to Bichim United. Ooh! The rest of the story is there on the back page of the paper.
All right, let's get into the Daily
They're not even chasing us.
Newspaper. And it says AG refiles ex-SNID boss witness statements. That's on page 6. Executives, MPs' salaries revealed. And a lot of people have been talking, on the back of the proposal for first and second ladies to get salaries, so to speak, the cost of those loans for members of parliament as well, and members of the Council of State for them to get cars. All of that has been talked about, but in recent times, this one specifically, the Daily Guide speaks of executives' MP salaries revealed. Then exhumed Ejra victims for bullets. That's Kweku Bakon saying that that's one of the things he's been pointing to. And some have supported him that the only way to actually be able to say with some certainty that the 2023 election results will be announced by the end of the month. That is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the electoral commission will be able to announce the results. And that is when the e that it was ex-person or, this bullet, whether of the police or the military, that hit them, we have to exhume the bodies. But Murphy, it beats my mind though. Was it because these people rushed them and wanted to bury, the people as soon as possible, according to Muslim, tradition and all of that? You are gone, and I think by noon the next day they are going to put you in the ground. But did as for the medical staff, I wouldn't expect them to know this, but the security, apparatus, did they not realize that this was going to happen, and that if the bullets or whatever, the forensics that had to be done in a timely manner before they rushed the hospital for the body? I think there's a whole lot we could have done to avert what we have to do now, because it's not exactly palatable for most people for bodies to be exhumed and all of that. We are not letting the dead rest in peace. But if it has to be done, and if it will be done, I guess.
But it just raises a lot more questions. Were they interested in doing these checks?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken to people who have said that, well, it worked well for some people because it might have buried together with the people certain things that some people may not have wanted to come out.
Is it because of the committee's work that's perhaps bringing this other side? Because if there were plans, even without the formation of a committee to do proper investigations, then this should have been dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this won't be the first time that somebody whose religious background is Muslim is dying in a situation like this, and then we have to investigate. This is not the first time, obviously. So if there were proper plans to do that, they would have done it.
And that's the whole thing, proper planning. In all of this, you see that there was, it sort of reminds me of what Adam Bonar said at a point in time, that when the police says they had intelligence that the youth, after burying Macho Kaka, would, had planned on going to burn down a police station. The question is, did you have a fire tender there? In anticipation of the fact that if such things were going to happen, you didn't have a fire tender there. What was the plan, basically? So if they had rampaged and gone there to execute, what would you have done? Kumasi kidnappers kept grenade, pistols, and Pukwasi interchange ruffles NDC. I know this interchange is very good news for all of us, but for you as well. But one thing I can't for the life of me get is the politics when it comes to infrastructure and all of that, and how the fight for credit and the failure to give credit. It's really it sticks out like a sore thumb, really. But when you go to the middle spread of the paper, you might be interested in this one. Beduko be mocked over failed Brazil prophecy. And I am not trying to single out the founder and leader of the Glorious Wave Church International. I think he said at the start of the season, I think he prophesied as well, just to be fair, on the other side, that Hearts of Oak would carry the day when it comes to the Ghana Premiership.
Oh, is it?
So that's what I hear. I don't know how authentic that is. So at least that has panned out.
I saw the Brazil one, and then yesterday I saw the England
one, and it was like.
So I think yesterday's own happened probably in church, because he seemed to be dressed to preach at the time.
So both of them.
Oh, they said mocked.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Over failed Brazil prophecy. So that is that. But why do they? Let me just ask. Why do they have to? You can be. I know some of them who never say these things. Maybe it's the gift. They have different gifts. Someone like, is it Eastwood Anaba? I don't hear him getting into all of these.
Masa is not a gift, it's a choice.
It's a choice, eh?
Absolutely.
No, but not all people
You
prophesy.
choose to say something.
That's why I'm saying not all
was it
people
a prophecy?
prophesy.
Was it a prophecy? I thought it was a pastor
it's okay,
speaking about something that he had.
This was after his prophecy that Brazil would win the Copa America 2021 woefully. Or maybe what the paper is referring to as a prophecy in actual terms can't be counted.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't
but
necessarily a prophecy.
Terms,
maybe it's because he's a prophet. That's why we think that everything he says, the Spirit told him. Okay, Patrick, if you are saying that, I don't know what I heard. So bring the video, let's play it. Because I see,
Anyway.
So let me just say something. Good morning to Sofo Uswansa. He's a Kotoko fan, a die-hard Kotoko. And because we won, Sofo couldn't come to work today.
Oh.
So wherever you are, Sofo also answer.
This one,
we're still the masters. Good morning to you, sir. Not true. Not true, pa.
There's also Colombians jam to Jeduble Ambole song. This is a good one. A Colombian music band has been receiving a lot of applause for performing a song titled Abrantier by celebrated Ghanaian highlife musician Jeduble Ambole. So that's a good one in there. And then actress Leah Seydoux test positive for COVID-19. On the back page, there are a lot of sporting stories that I don't want to get into.
Oh, kind of fire. We're still
I am done with the Daily Guide newspaper.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times. On the front page, 2021 population census ends. The statistical service begins mop-up exercise today. Bank of Ghana begins public education on rights, responsibilities of assessing banking, financial services. Government to construct 1,500 kilometers for roads nationwide next 4 years, according to President. Pastor drowns performing religious rites in Offenso River. Story on page 3 says a head pastor who took his colleagues to the Offenso River in Offenso in the Ashanti region to perform religious rites on Wednesday drowned moments he started incantations. The body of Pastor Kwekwata was found after the chief linguist of Offenso Traditional Council, Nana Kweku Wiafe, led elders to the riverbank to perform religious rites. Pastor Ata, also called Prophet Ata, was said to be the founder and leader of Anointed Family Chapel International at Ayensua, Koko, a suburb of Offenso. That's really sad there. There's a lot more to the story you can read. And the circuit court at Techiman in the Bono East region has remanded into police custody 3 suspected Fulanis over the alleged murder of a 41-year-old soldier, Sergeant Job Kwame O'Day. Also, a 13-year-old girl, Lydia Amataku, has been crushed to death by a motorcycle while selling cassava balls and coconut. This is along the Ponsomanya Road in the Eastern region. This happened just on Saturday. And Accra Circuit Court has granted a 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties each to a community police assistant and 3 other persons for alleged offensive conduct. The details of the conduct, which is described as offensive, is in the paper. And if you turn attention to the back page, Patrick, take us to the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
I think the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper can't be found.
And we are in your face. We're in your food. We're in your drinks. We're everywhere today. Hats at 2021 League champs.
Okay, so as you talk football, let's quickly do this. So we have the videos when it comes to Bedu Kobi's prophecies. One for Brazil and the other for England. Let's roll. Let's see what exactly he had to say. And I like the way Nawa Sugar or one corner. That is the word of a prophet. But you know, sometimes you get it wrong. So you have a
Oh, England, no man, you know, God reveals to redeem.
So this one, when the revelation came, the Argentinians, you know, did what they had to redeem the trophy. And the Italians also did what they had to. You know, we have Rome, we have the Vatican. So after they did their spiritual gymnastics, I don't know.
But you know, sports is a game, right? And I would love it if all of us played it like that. You know, and leave the spirit of the God out of it. You know what I mean?
But there's nothing without God in it. There's always God in everything.
Anyway, Charlie.
Anyway, but I just had to. This nearly skipped my mind. Have you got counted?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Because I'm hearing of an extension and all of that,
the
especially as they try to mop up.
No, I haven't been counted. I haven't been counted.
Me neither.
So I just had a little situation. So I wasn't home for, I think, 2 or 3 days. And I haven't been counted. I think there's a phone number out there.
Hotline.
If you haven't been counted, you
0800 426 426. 0800 426 426.
Okay, so I intend calling them today to let them know that I haven't been counted. Last week, was it Wednesday or Thursday? I was excited on Wednesday because my structure had been counted.
Right.
Yeah, that I took a picture of.
So they had numbered it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but
well,
I haven't been
let's see how it goes, because of the last time I checked. No, not yet.
Okay, all right.
The last
have
time
you called
I
them,
checked,
though?
yes, I'm going to do that.
Okay, all right.
It was about 90%, which still 90+%, which still means that there's quite a chunk to be covered. But quickly with the Finder newspaper, 9,982 active COVID-19 cases as pressure mounts on ICUs. You see, that's the problem. Our intensive care units, when the COVID numbers go off. And tied to that, I nearly forgot this one. Fans fake COVID-19 tests. Apparently, the Copa America, some people intentionally faked test results just so they could
go, yeah.
So we are hoping
so this
wouldn't lead to an escalation in COVID cases. But back to the Finder, electric vehicles draft policy ready by year end, and President Akufo-Addo commissions 85-bed Central Gonja District Hospital. The last one I would like to allude to, if you grab the Finder newspaper, go to page 7, you'll check out Samson's take. I'm talking about Samson Lade and Yanine's take. Watch these things. It's on the back of human rights issues, as well as the Fix the Country demonstrations that have been frustrated and all of that. It's part 2 of it. You can grab details from that paper.
All right. So I just put 2 papers together, the Ghanaian Publisher, the Daily Post. There is a common headline on the paper, different angles though. So if you check the Ghanaian Publisher, Ojidom denies $5 million CJ bribery claim, says allegation false and orchestrated. And if you turn attention to the Daily Post, same story, different angle, $5 million bribery allegation. CJ must resign or step aside to enable uninhibited investigation, says lawyer Sosu. Just for those of you, because I sort of started reading about it, I think just yesterday, there is a petition that's been sent to the General Legal Counsel to look at the conduct of a certain lawyer. His picture and name is on the front page of the Daily Post, lawyer Kwesi Afrifa. And the lawyer's response to the letter that he received is what's getting a lot of people talking, where he alleges that his client, the chief who had essentially taken him to the General Legal Counsel so he could take back some money that he paid to him to use for ways and means, gymnastics. This is all contained in the legal gymnastics in his petition to the council. Well, he actually gave a certain background leading to how he was fired as a lawyer, because allegedly this chief had told him that he had gone to see the Chief Justice himself, who had demanded $5 million. And so he wanted the money he had paid to him to do the legal gymnastics back so he could go and pay him. I mean, it's a whole big allegation. The hearing is supposed to be 15th of July. So we're all hoping. I mean, it's a bit messy. You get what I mean?
It is messy. I think we really need to get into it to find out what, because this allegation, or at least what this lawyer pens, goes to the heart of the judiciary, and it's a very tricky business that we need to find out what exactly happened.
It comes back to prove, right? And so how much, and now that it's become, like a whole public conversation, because often lawyers will go before the General Legal Counsel and nobody would know. But somehow, this issue of the petition is out there. The response is out there. And then the rejoinder from the chief is also out there.
Supposedly.
Exactly. So everything is just playing out. So I guess we're all curious to know. We understand 15th of July will be the date that they would sit to hear this matter after all the letters flying around. So we're keeping our eye close to this one.
Yeah, we shall keep an eagle eye on that one to see how it pans out. Republic Press, and there's Ejua disturbances. Victim's mother calls for justice. And UGBS's Professor Hinson ranked #1 business and marketing scholar in Ghana. But what I want to, and it also says Council of State members get $3.4 million car loan. That's according to a report. That's what Republic Press is reporting. But maybe I'll wrap with this one. What is it with African leaders and saying one thing and doing something totally different? What is it with our leaders? Malawi president criticized for picking daughter as diplomat. And Malawi's president, Lazarus Chakwera, is receiving fierce criticism for appointing his daughter, Violet, to serve at Malawi's embassy in Brussels as third secretary. But here's the bit. Mr. Chakwera made ending nepotism, which he said was the hallmark of his predecessor, Peter Mutharika's government, a key pledge during his election campaign in 2020. Manuesi. Key pledge.
All right, this story in the Daily Graphic newspaper is what I want to highlight about a student who's been fingered. That's how the headline puts it.
What is it with?
In Accra Academy fire outbreaks. So, you know, the last fire that was recorded in the school, there was a committee set up. And that committee's work pointed to a student, a second-year student. And then the police has been involved. So for about a week now, this boy has been handed over to the police. And through the interrogations, he's revealed that, yes, he did it, but here's why, allegedly, according to what's in the story, that he wasn't happy that he was in the boarding house. First of all, he didn't like the school, and then he wanted to be a day student and not a boarder. And so he decided to set the fires so that he can change from boarding to being a day student.
That is a very twisted understanding of matters. How old is?
They didn't say, but then they say juvenile, so they describe him as a juvenile. So I guess.
Well, then that's arson.
He's not 18.
But of course, he's not.
And so the initial charge is causing unlawful damage. That's what the paper is quoting.
That is quite some damage.
So we'll see. I mean, it's still investigations, right? Once he hasn't been found guilty, and this is what has been reported as what he said to the investigators.
What he is alleged to have said.
Exactly.
Hopefully, if it wasn't said under duress, but if it was said wholly, if he actually did say that, he meant all of it, then that's something we have on our hands.
He wanted to be a day student. He didn't like the school.
I think it mentions here a 15.
Oh, 15 year. Okay, 15
so
year.
So he is 15.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think sometimes, you see, while we could play the blame game and all of that, it may go down to how sometimes we foist things on young ones and insist. You know, back then, and I know it still goes on, oh, your parents, you've got a very good aggregate or something. They want you to read science. They want you to do this. They want you to, maybe that is not the interest of the child. That's not what the child wants. You force them in there. I know of someone who graduated as a medical doctor. And when he was done, he said, okay, parents, I've done what you wanted. I'm a medical doctor now, but this is not what I want to do with my life. I don't enjoy it. And he went and did art.
Oh.
He's a wonderful painter. That was what he wanted to do throughout his life. They forced him. He struggled through medical school, finally made it, but he didn't want to be a medical doctor. He doesn't even like blood. Do you get it? So dealing with some of these issues, who knows? Maybe the struggles the child may have gone through. I don't want to be in the boarding house. I don't even like the school. Yeah, it may be tricky as a parent, but do we take such things into consideration? It could have averted maybe what we are seeing here.
All right. Well, I guess this is where we have to end the review.
It is indeed. This is where we
You can log on to myjoyonline.com. You can also visit the newsstands and grab the papers. If there's any story that you heard you want to read in detail, of course, grab the papers and read some more. We'll make way for Muftau, who's obviously disappointed. I can host the sports this morning. I can, do it because Hearts of Oak are champions. Can he ignore telling that story? He cannot.
And to some bodybuilding now, where top bodybuilders in the country are gearing up for this year's WBBA Hercules Olympia, which comes off on July 24 in Perugia, Italy. Here is a report by Joyce Moses. Asari Bidiako.
Michael Panel, Bright Holdbrook, Adam Mohammed, Arnold Benzo, and Jeffrey Anansam are poised for action ahead of this year's Waba Hercules Olympia. This is the second time Ghana is competing at the event. Michael Panel, a two-time bodybuilding champion, is looking forward to the event.
This year is going to be much more exciting because whatever is there to win, 100% we're going to bring it home, straight to Ghana. So whatever is there to win, come on Ghanaians, expect us. We're bringing it home. That's what we're about.
The reigning Mr. Ghana, Adam Mohammed, is unfazed by the huge challenge ahead.
I've never been scared. Even for my first time on stage, I never been scared for anything, but you know, we are still looking to do our best. We will give our best to bring something better to this country.
Victor Baden, president of Waba Ghana, is confident the team will impress in Italy.
You know, as has always been, you know, we have tried really well to psych these guys up. You know, we have prepared them mentally, physically, emotionally. Every aspect, every facet of bodybuilding, they have or they understand now. They have all the tools at this present moment in time. We've got guys in 3 different categories: the bodybuilding category, the men's physique category, and then the classic physique category as well. And they are all phenomenal champions. These guys they are all accomplished bodybuilders here in Ghana. And like I said, we've never seen them the way they look now compared to previous.
Mega David, board member of Waba Ghana, has encouraged women to get into bodybuilding.
Yeah, a lot of females in Ghana here, you know, having different mentality about bodybuilding. So I'm still in to campaign about that, and I'm going to regions to talk to them, for them to understand bodybuilding, for them to know how they also going to get much things in bodybuilding.
This year's Waba Hercules Olympia comes off on July 24 at the Central Congresso Hotel in Perugia, Italy.
Good luck to Team Ghana as they set off to represent their country in this competition. On this note, we say thanks very much for joining us for AM Sports on the AM show. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories, especially the biggest stories that happened over the weekend. I am Muftau Nabila Abla, and this has been AM Sports on the AM show.
Thank you for staying with us on the AM show. It's all about making Accra clean. It's an analysis of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Joining us for this discussion, Florence Kuchi, AMA Public. She is with the AMA Public Health Directorate. And there's Emmanuel Adai, who is a WASH expert, who joins us for this all-important conversation as we analyze basically what we've been doing so far and what the effect really has been. We'll be interacting with both of them. If we have Florence and Emmanuel, a very good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining the conversation this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting us. Good morning to all your viewers.
Great.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
I love the smile on your face, Florence, and I've seen you in action out there doing the do. When you're in action, the people don't see you smiling like you're smiling at us this morning. In fact, you get a lot of them very hot. Tell me, what is your secret?
It's the passion.
The passion for the work. And,
yes,
and even when you step out there and they are resisting you and it's getting all feisty out there, you still stand your ground. How do you manage that?
You know, as a public health worker, dealing with the public, you must know how to react to the public. Sometimes the best form of defense is attack. So when they are attacking, you just have to stay back and then re-strategize and come in. That has been our secret, yeah.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. We've had quite a number of encounters, as you have helped us on this drive, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. We've gone to, slaughterhouses. We've gone to, many different places which ought to be cleared up. We've gone to public toilet facilities and all of that. So far, when you look at the Joy Clean Ghana campaign and what work has been done on the back of COVID and pausing and coming back, What would you say has been the real impact of the campaign out there as you've hit the streets?
In fact, Joy Clean Ghana campaign have really brought a positive impact into the general behavior and attitude towards sanitation. Environmental health officers have always since been on the ground. But this time around, Joy Clean Ghana, one of our main motives is to name and shame sanitation offenders in public. So when people are caught on camera violating sanitation rules, they stand up and they see the need not to do it, or they see the need to do the right thing. So Joy Clean Ghana campaign has really been a very good source of help when it comes to sanitation awareness in the public out there.
Right. And let me just ask you this right before I cross over to Mr. Adai. We know that one of the key areas when it comes to sanitation, a lot of people would be unwilling to do the right thing. So far, some of those who have been, found culpable, what has been the action taken on them from those in the slaughterhouses who were given second opportunities, third opportunities to do the right thing, for those managing some of these public toilet facilities, for those whose environment has been unkempt and all of that. So far, how have these people been dealt with as far as the law is concerned?
Yeah, talking about the slaughter slab, the following morning, they organized and then the whole place was cleaned up. The medical screening lab service personnel, they moved a lab there to screen all the people who are slaughtering over there. Talking about the public toilet, summons has been issued to them. We went to court last week, Friday, and we pleaded with court, we want to demolish the toilet. So we are waiting for court to give us the order for the toilet to be demolished so that if a new one can be built, it will be built. Because looking at the toilet, it is a pit, a pan latrine. And they have latrine. And it is a designated area that is posing health hazard to people who are using it. So during all the places we have visited, they have all done the right thing. Those that we have given the summons, some have corrected the issues. Those that have not corrected, so far we've sent 3 persons to court from the first starting of second phase of Clean Ghana till date.
Right. So that makes for interesting analysis. I'll be coming back to you shortly, but let me now interact with Emmanuel Adai, who is a water sanitation and hygiene expert. From your standpoint, looking at the goals of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, what we have revealed thus far, what has been going on in the system, how important would you say it is that we've embarked on this campaign and that in fact we're exposing the sort of things we're seeing?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I want to commend JoyNews and the AMA for embarking on this exercise, because we've always been calling for law enforcement in this country. Honestly speaking, many MMDAs are quite shy about enforcing the law and forcing people to do the right thing. So I am always very happy about the way JoyNews and the AMA have taken on this task to let people know that what they are doing is bad and is affecting everybody around them. So yes, I commend them, and I wish all MMDAs also embark on this. I want to commend Florence in particular. Florence, how are you? For being so bold and always going about this campaign. It is quite scary. I once watched one of their videos with somebody, I think a public toilet attendant, threatening them and so on and so forth, but then they keep going. I think it is a very commendable exercise. But what I want to suggest is that it's not enough. I think all media stations should join forces with all MMDAs also doing the same. And the shaming alone may not be enough. They have to be punished, and the penalty units, I think, should be increased, because sometimes maybe the fines are not enough or the imprisonment are not enough, and they are not deterrent enough. And also the publicity, when people are caught, the publicity should be more. You know, apart from the events being shown maybe live or maybe being shown on TV, aspects could also be captured in subsequent news items for the publicity to go, so that the shame will be widespread to scare more people away.
Okay, I'll come right back to you, Mr. Adai, with a follow-up, but I'd like you to respond to that, Florence. So, per Mr. Adai, he is proposing that there be stiffer penalties for those who would be found, complicit in some of these actions that are not supposed to be seen, these actions that actually flout the law, and that the penalty units and all of that should be increased. There should be stiffer punishment for them. What is your take? Do you agree? Florence, are you with us?
Has been one of our main issues we've been encountering. Of late, when you look at our bylaws and some of the state laws that we use in the prosecutions, the penalty unit on sanitation is so meager. The highest one can pay will not reach up to 2,000. The least one can pay is about 100 cedis. And people pay these monies and come back to continue in the same situation. So I think we need to review our laws in sanitation aspect. Then the penalty action will be very high. So when people pay a lot or when people serve a lot at the prison centers and come back, they will know that sanitation is something that they are not supposed to play with. Always I say, sanitation is also a criminal activity. Why do I say that? Because through your actions or inaction, and you throw something into a drain, when it rains, the rainwater will wash all the waste to a place and the drain is blocked. It will lead to flooding, and this flooding can lead to people losing their lives and livelihood. Somebody going to use a gun to shoot somebody, we see the person physically, but you have done it in a way that people may not bring their mind towards it, but it is all criminality. So I think the way the punitive measures we are tied to people who kill, who rob, who do other things, the same measures should be attached to sanitation issues, so that people really take sanitation issues very seriously in this country.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head, Florence. But the question is, as the AMA, you have certain responsibilities in this regard. Are you then going to push for legislation? I mean, are you going to spearhead what you're saying now? Because if the AMA itself decides that, well, we need stiffer penalties and we need to take a second look at our law books when it comes to sanitation, is this something that you would push maybe for the legislation to be brought to bear on that matter? Is it something the AMA will push?
Yes, in fact, very soon we'll be reviewing our bylaw 2017. And on the bylaw 2017, when we are reviewing it, we are going to ensure that penalty measures attached to sanitation issues is really going to push high to deter people from violating sanitation rules.
Let me come back to Mr. Adai. And I know you're fully aware of the situation when it comes to constraints in terms of even access to potable water across the country. But in terms of sanitation and hygiene, how bad really is the situation? We've seen part of the picture as, you know, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign has highlighted on our television screens. But how bad, from where you sit, is the situation? And why is it crucial that we do this at this point in time to expose some of these things?
Yeah, if you ask me how bad, I would say very bad, especially in our urban areas. In the rural communities, generally their main problem is opentification. But even over there, because of the vast land around them, probably sometimes the impact is not very widespread. But then in urban areas where we have the population density is quite high. That is where we have the problem, and it is everywhere in all the regions. But I think, it is timely, because especially during the rainfall, that is where the impact is more severe because of poor drainage. You know, people will go and defecate maybe uphill or upstream somewhere, and then because of the rains, they are washed into people's compounds and other open spaces, and that is where the spread of diseases begin. So if you ask me, I would say yes, it is widespread. There's no place or no region in Ghana where we say there are no sanitation issues. And people simply blatantly flout the law because, as Florence said, the penalty units are not they are not punitive enough. And sometimes you even have a lot of influential people also stepping in to intervene or interfere with the legal process. So you see maybe politicians or chiefs or religious leaders, opinion leaders, assembly members, chiefs, trying to just intervene on behalf of their friends or family members who have been caught by the law. And those behaviors are also very, very, very bad. And then some of the assemblies, because of that, even don't want to go into prosecution at all, because you go through all the processes, sometimes quite expensive. Even going to arrest somebody, you may have to pay for fuel or even hire a car for the police to go and arrest that person. It's expensive, and yet they don't know how much they are going to even earn from it. Many assemblies have not been able to gazette their bylaws because of the cost involved. And if they have not gazetted their bylaws and they are going to use the public health law, all the monies that will accrue over there will go straight into the consolidated fund. It doesn't come to the assembly. So why should I spend on something? And if there's even some returns on it, it goes straight into the national coffers. So they are not even bothered so much to embark on enforcement. And again, because of policy, the nature of our politics, if you are, let's say, a DCE and you want to pursue people of sanitation offenders here and there, during election time, they may also pay you back because you are threatening them. So some of them, for the sake of political expediency, they don't want to go into prosecution at all. And these are all issues that are widespread across the length and breadth of the country. And I think it is not only for MMDAs to deal with it. We have to deal with it from the top. If Parliament actually steps up, the legal processes like the formulation of laws to support, I think it will be a national issue that assemblies will also take up.
So, in other words, per what you're saying, the metropolitan assemblies themselves are not being incentivized enough, and action ought to be taken on that as well to ensure that they are willing to do certain things.
Exactly, because one, if they are not earning a lot of revenue from it, they are not too keen to do that because they have a lot of areas to invest their efforts and their monies in. And two, if enforcement is going to affect somebody's political fortunes, why would that person go in? Those are the issues on the ground.
Now, the bigger picture can be seen in the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically 11, which talks about, sustainable cities and communities. And across the world, cities are evaluated based on their sanitation, how hygienic they are, access to water, and all of that. Ghana has its own goals feeding into. How much more work do you feel we ought to be doing? Because it appears that it's quite a hurdle we have to scale.
Yeah, that's the right one. It's a big hurdle because if you tell me to rate, I don't even know how to rate it because from open defecation to drainage to solid waste management to everything, we seem to be lacking. Though this year, luckily, probably the flooding has not been very, very scary as it used to be. Probably some of the big drainage systems have been dredged or so. But then, my worry is, why should it not be a once and for all solution? Why don't we invest in solving the problem once and immediate solutions, short-term solutions, and then we forget about it then? That is the problem. Otherwise, I would say in terms of drainage, we are not going anywhere. Every time the drains are choked, we still keep on constructing open drains. People keep on throwing rubbish everywhere. And open defecation doesn't seem to be changing very fast because it was 22%. I learned this year, the new figures have come, it has dropped to about 19% or so. We are still very, very high. So looking at the SDGs by 2030, which is just about 8.5 or 9 years away, I don't think we are even up to 30% close to our target. And the target is there is any way that we are going to have a clean city by 2030.
Right. Madam Kuchi, now there's also this bit about, what Mr. Adai was speaking of a short while ago, about the influencers. Sometimes you're even trying to do your work and maybe a chief or opinion leader or some prominent person tries to intervene on behalf of someone who has been found culpable. Is that a major problem you faced in this campaign in terms of ensuring that people are doing the right thing?
Thank you so much. For Clean Ghana campaign issue, when it comes to even the technocrats on sanitation, a lot of people think that environmental health, gone were the days, they call them the Sanasame, are not more there. But I keep telling people, myself talking here, I am a chief Sanasama. We are in the ground, we are on the ground, we are working. But the issue is, we are hanging. That is where the problem becomes. When you can't trace us and meet us at any, at national level. When you go to Ministry of Sanitation, a lot of people think that the environmental health officers are under Ministry of Sanitation. Meanwhile, we are not under Ministry of Sanitation. Now, others think that we are under the local government. We are not under the local government. So where is the environmental health office head is? Who is at the head to spearhead?
But to see whether the connection with Florence can be better. Of course, it's always tricky doing Zoom. So while she attempts to reconnect, Florence Kuchi, we shall await your reconnection. Hopefully the network will be better so we can hear from you on that. But a very important point that she was making there in terms of the technocrats and even where to place what. At a point in time, that becomes difficult and it impedes the work when it comes to sanitation and hygiene in our cities.
The technocrats themselves, by the institutions that we have, the current institutional arrangement is not favoring, as you rightly said, the environmental health and sanitation. Even before she said, I even thought they were under the Ministry of Local Government, but she just said, no, that one, maybe I also love to hear more about that. But all along, I thought they were under the Ministry of Local Government within the MMDAs. But this is why some of us in the sector actually campaigned a lot for institutional restructuring. And I think this culminated in the established sanitation department directorate over there. They don't have any links to the district assemblies, as she just said, because the environmental health officers at the assemblies are not under them. So then there's a big broken link over there. That is why we've been clamoring for a dedicated sanitation authority that can reach the ground. They will still work through the district assemblies, all right. But at the moment, if you are, let's say, the director of sanitation at the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, yet you don't have any subordinates on the ground, how do you ensure that your policies and your 17? In about last 2 years during the Mole Water and Sanitation Conference, the Vice President himself came to reaffirm that commitment. Of course, yet it's getting to 2 years. We don't know how much has been done about it. We only hear that the consultations are still ongoing. I think it's taking too long because look at, let's say, Ministry of Health. They have so many authorities, services here and there. Excuse me to say, in Ghana, we have a National Lotteries Authority. So I don't see what is wrong with establishing a National Sanitation Authority. But sometimes when you speak about this, some people don't really understand. It is not trying to undermine the decentralization process, but at least we want systems to work. If Florence goes to the Ministry of Sanitation, who is she going to? Because she doesn't report to that ministry.
Right.
If the minister develop all policy, I mean, these are some of the reasons why we've been asking for a dedicated directorate or an agency, whether it is an authority or agency, for sanitation, so that there could be a unified and harmonized command system that will let information flow or command flow from the top to the bottom, and also information to Water and Sanitation Agency. And there's also the hydrology department and so on. They are all there as units under one directorate. But then when it comes to sanitation, they don't have anybody beneath them to support them to implement their policies.
All right, let me go back to Florence. You were making a point. I would have you wrap up on the point, and maybe you can add on to it. Be the go-to agency when it comes to your work to facilitate it. What are your thoughts, Florence? Hello, can you hear me, Flores Gucci? Maybe you'd have to unmute. If you've unmuted, then we should be able to hear you. Great, great. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, centralized system. The Environmental Health Office is under a department that has not been decentralized. It's a unit under a department that has not been decentralized. A department that their resources doesn't pass through Ministry of Local Government or local government service. So how do we get resources? So it's high time the policymakers sit down and then restructure. They should restructure the system to ensure that things are working. Other than that, sanitation act in Yasik or Fiasco. If you don't restructure, and then everybody, you go to Ministry of Health.
Hello, Madam Kuchi, if you can hear me, I think we may...
There are a lot of agencies under Ministry of Health. We don't even know where we are. Ahead.
And that is a major problem. I'd like to draw your mind to this issue. The last time, I just want to know what progress has been made in that regard. The last time we checked, there were a lot of these meat sellers who were without the proper certificates at the London market, over 300. When we purchase from them, can we be sure of the safety of these products?
Yes, for now, we can purchase for them because the lab technicians have gone there to take them through the screening. They are yet to receive their cards. By next week, their cards will be ready. So we've taken them through the screening.
Okay. So moving the conversation forward, the technocrats and how they may not be helping the system. And you've spoken about, well, the stubbornness of some people out there. But as we expose these in the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, I'm sure we'll get, we'll be able to reverse the negativity. But the bit is, so far, looking at all that we've mentioned, what are the solutions we should be looking at cleaner? What should we be doing, Madam Kuchi?
What I think we should be doing is we need a holistic support. We need the public to support the technocrats on the ground. We need the opinion leaders to detach from the technocrats on the ground for them to undertake their duties. Because when an environmental officer takes somebody to court, you serve the person the summons, you will not even get to the office. And a
call will come from whom?
A call will come from an opinion leader, either a political head, an assembly member. You should withdraw the summons. And my brother, when you withdraw such a summons from that community, you cannot go back there to work because it has cut down your morality. You don't have the moral right to even go there again because you've been disgraced. You will go there and work and nobody will listen to you. Our last resort in sanitation is the law enforcement taking the person to court. And here is the case, just as my brother rightly said, there are some assemblies, they are even refusing to even go to court. And some people have even instructed that I don't want you to send people to court. We have some assemblies like that. And if you want, just contact me. I can give you some of these assemblies that they have instructed officers in those assemblies that they should not send cases to court again. Why? Because they think that there is something that is bringing their influential or their popularity down, which is very bad, until we can give work to a private entity, a private waste collector. But if the environmental health officer is not there to help the private waste collector to do the work, it will not go on properly. So we need help from both the government and both the general. Thank you.
Okay, but on that very point you made, it is contrary to the law if an assembly member or some bigwig decides to say that in my community or in my area, you people shouldn't operate because you're making me unpopular. It's criminal, actually. And I think you ought to be naming and shaming such people as well, not just on the side, but we need to know when.
Yes, that is one of the things. But the issue is there are some areas, if they say no and you continue to do it, they will transfer you from where you are to a place. They'll go and manipulate for them to take you from where you are. For my area, I don't have that problem. I'm not facing it. But there are other MMDAs that officers are facing this very seriously. They will transfer you within a twinkle of an eye to a different place. And when you go there and you still want to continue, you will never be stable. That is why I'm saying we need the support from the policymakers and support from the general so that we can do our work. We know it's illegal. Some of us, we can do that, but others may not be able to do it because we are not the same. Even when you go to some assemblies and you see offices of environmental health officers, my brother, you will not even turn and look at it again. So you come and meet me sitting in a deplorable office on a bench. How do I come out and tell you to clean your place?
But let's wrap on our conversation. We had to break the news to you. Let's wrap on our conversation on cleaning Ghana. Florence Kuchi, if you're with us, I know there was a point you were making, so I'll just have both of you do this very briefly for us. Your summary comments at the end of this discussion on the way forward. I know you started with that, Florence, if you can end with it.
Yeah, okay. So the summary is, as I said earlier on, we need the media support, we need the policymaker support and the general support. There are so many assemblies. If other media can also hang up or hook up with any of the assemblies and they also start that, so that every day people keep seeing it, people keep watching this thing on screen. It shouldn't be just only AMA and JoyNews.
Right.
Other assemblies hook on, so that we all try these things to name and shame sanitation offenders on the screen, and things may change. Thank you.
And we'll be reaching out to you for some of those names, like you mentioned, on the side, so we can actually pursue it from there. Mr. Adai, what would be your concluding comments on this discussion?
Yeah. I would say, I would suggest two main things that we have to do as a country. One is to be very serious with sanitation. We should make it a national development issue. It can even be a national security issue, because if we don't declare that we want to, if we don't make a declaration that we want to, take our sanitation from this level to that level by this time, there's nothing we can do. There should be a clear national development plan for sanitation before we can achieve anything. And number two, discipline. You can see a society that thrives on individual selfishness will never develop, because we are many and individuals always want to be selfish. That is why we have laws and regulations to bring harmony in the society, so that we can develop as one body. We have all the laws. Every district has the bylaws. We have all the laws at the national level. What is left is the will to implement? If we feel shy to implement, people will always have their way, because people naturally are selfish. Individuals are naturally selfish. Let us use the law and apply them. Let's allow the law to work. You see, sometimes some of us over-criticize. Somebody has offended. Open defecation is an offense. Littering is an offense. If you want to take on that person, you get people also comparing that kind of offense with, let's say, a murder case or a theft elsewhere. Every offense is offense. Let us met out the law to whoever deserves it.
Right.
So let us be disciplined. Let's ensure and enforce discipline on the people, and also let us invest critically in sanitation, as we are trying to do for electrification, for free SHS, for agriculture. Let us also see sanitation as a pillar for national development and invest in it accordingly. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Adai. Thank you, Madam Kuchi, first of all, for joining us for the conversation, and also for your patience as we broke the news on that story. Emmanuel Adai is a WASH expert. Florence Kuchi is with the AMA Public Health Directorate. They joined us on that conversation. We take a break. When we return on the AM show, we'll bring you much more. Do stay. Now, stabbed person, is the person still alive? Tell us a bit more. What details can you share with us? Where specifically did this happen? Well, it appears we are struggling a bit to get in touch with Manoa Krante, but he'll be joining us shortly to give us details. What we can confirm is that this person has been stabbed. Whether or not the person is dead is what we cannot confirm, but our roving man, Manoa Krante, just spotted that, and you can see the crowd around, the body. I do not know as yet whether there's been any call to, for an ambulance, for example, for health. You can hear me now. What are the details you can share with this story of someone who has been stabbed at Satellite Junction? What can you share?
Yeah, so Ben, we're coming to you live from Satellite Junction on the Accra-Kumasi Highway. Well, this particular stretch is just a couple of meters away from the toll booth on this particular highway. Now, we are learning that a gentleman who we've been able to identify only as Cornelius this morning was stabbed sometime around midnight. Now, he jumped onto his motorbike, which is across the street at that end, and attempted to go to the hospital. All of these are things that we're learning in just the past couple of minutes. His body has been found here at the Satellite Junction this morning by his family members and some of the town folks. Madam,
yeah, Chiriba, no.
Oh, you were Chiriba?
Yes, sir. Like, it's the last born.
It's your last born, but what happened?
According to the news we heard, he was stabbed. Someone stabbed him. And then he was bleeding, so he said
exactly where he was stabbed or
the place he was stabbed. I was told there was a filling station nearby our house, so there's a place they used to sit and chat and gist. That was where the thing happened.
And you didn't follow up after he was stabbed? The friends didn't tell you anything?
No, I didn't hear. They said the thing happened around 1 a.m. I didn't hear anything till this morning, so we've been looking for him throughout. Before someone came and told us that they saw him lying lifeless at the roadside here. That was when we came.
So all of this is just coming to you this morning?
Yes, this morning.
But what work does he do? What?
He just finished secondary school.
Just finished secondary school?
Yes.
And you live, all of you live together?
Yeah, he lived with my parents, but I don't live there.
Accept our condolences, and we can see, Ben, we can see some crime scene officers from the Ghana Police Service who are currently in Mufti taking some details around the body. But we'll just get a bit closer to a few of the people here and then speak to them. Boss, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's your name? Well, and we're seeing the people trying to move away, but we just want to appreciate.
Yeah, it's my friend.
It's your friend?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know him?
Oh, I know him as a good guy. He always comes to my shop and buys spare parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you learn of the issue?
I don't know anything. I just came now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Colenos.
Okay.
Yes.
His name is Colenos, and he comes to buy spare parts from your shop?
Yes, I sell motor spare parts here.
Okay.
So that's why I know him.
Okay.
He's a good guy. Oh. So sad.
And so, Ben, we're just learning of, the gentleman. We're just learning that his name is Cornelius. And you're seeing a lot of the motor was seated, we're told this morning. And so this particular motorbike is what he was seated on. And that's it. And you could see some blood on the motorbike, and from what we've seen, there's a deep cut into his left arm. There's a deep cut into his left arm. My boss,
That mean sing crying.
Unimno.
Minimum pa nice cool person. Charlie, me and Rami say me call God push me and me chumu to here then. Sako fie. Oti say wait Jesus we body be do yenu. O any den. Chama any den.
Unim nipa won sika.
That be me nim nipa won sika no. Oti say. Is it God cool person? O any den no won sika. Jehovah. Charlie. Why? Body bang. O God o any den. Oh Charlie. Charlie, Bonnie Bay.
But in Tokwan bia any baby.
There be me call no pano because you know around 10 days. And a Bansani say that moment you only 20 years above for fruit top or a filling station on fruit top bonum. It's also giddy because filling station it's a nice papa coffee ball and a conum sacra on. What I say, and say, and I do want to say, okay, without that, Uncola no pampa munina, and I mean to be fruit top on me, because by them, because England, Italy. And say, me one penalty in the Miss I chair to me moto coffee. What I say, Jano Pan and Miss Mitty story and say, God will be one a second kunu. It's a bit do me or chairman post a child also as a cool movement. Me no born commander Miss Ida, free.
And no, you may count
around 10 hours, you may 10 hours. And I may free until me share no pass, and I may free. Is that not pay on my friends and almost home one as a kaikuna? Why?
It's a moon nipa bet me. I want to say,
Dabby. He said, oh, no, nipa then. Or want to say about your compound and say, we don't want to see Kai. As I see.
And so, Ben, just to, just to explain what he said to you, he said that the gentleman who is now deceased is a very good friend of his, says that as of last night, while the England-Italy match was going on, he even spoke to him just last night. And he said that the last one he met him was around the pub, a filling station where they go to watch the football and drink, as he just told me. And so he's really shocked and surprised at hearing that he's now being stabbed with his lifeless body lying along the stretch, particularly Satellite Junction on the Accra in Sam motorway. And boss, where they are doing pa unimno or your hunipa? Or your hunipa?
I am last born.
Or your last born? Oba and I say unia. Unia. When was the last time I'm huno? Okay, time man.
Oh, and you call ye meeting be around 2 p.m. That was the last time I'm in home.
Oh, by ye meeting,
oh, by.
Oh, cram so baby.
That be after that, me home baby, I'll call her. Oh, by ye meeting, but.
And I'm also channel.
Also, Mr. Meeting before for, and you know, yeah, we meeting, Mr. Me call me come fee. And the player and meeting say, almost will be a one second.
Your friend is saying, what is saying?
Or the Cornelius, Donue and I said Tamaklo.
What are you saying?
I mean, over 20 more, 27 man, 26.
But one can say for us.
You're from the Tamaklo, Alex.
So we're just speaking to somebody who's identified himself as a senior brother to the deceased. His name is Alex Tamaklo, and he's described to us that the name of the deceased is Cornelius Tamaklo, and he gives a range of his age as between 20 and 27. We all got a description from his sister, who said that he had just finished with senior high school. And so these are the exclusive pictures that we're bringing to you this morning from the Satellite Junction on the Accra Kumasi Highway. And so you're seeing a mammoth of crowd really gathering around, and then now the traffic situation is also building up. For a lot of the people that I'm speaking to this morning, it is a lot of shock and indeed a lot of surprise. Well, we're seeing some police officers on the ground, and as it will be, preliminary assessment and investigations have already begun. Now I see a police van that has just parked with its boot opened, and I am thinking that they're going to now begin to carry the body away from the road to allow for free movement of traffic. But generally, it's a lot of surprise and a lot of shock for the people here. And boss, what's your animal, baby?
Oh, me pancho me tiha.
What's your inside?
Me wo pubi my chiro hono.
Pubi my chiro hono. Who are then out here? I say we are no pay.
Oh, I no pay the. Na me trotro mate. Na e kwe juma I say your force kakranti de kan.
So now the body is being carried into the van amidst wailing and cries from a lot of those who are standing by, particularly his family members.
I want to talk.
What's happening?
Do you know what is happening in Ghana? Yes. What is happening in Ghana is that, if you Okada drivers are driving away, even knife or cutlass is on our motor, the police used to catch us just because of the cutlass or the knife. You've seen that guy over there. Yesterday I saw him with friends. They were riding an Okada. After that, I saw that no, they took him. But right now that we realize that he's over here. When we use knife or cutlass on our motor right now, if any police or any government police sees us right now, he might say that, oh, we want to go and use the knife or the cutlass for some bad thing. But what they are doing, what the government police are doing right now is the bad thing that they have been doing. Because each day or any time that you hear now, you hear that an Aramba killed a Okada driver.
You don't feel safe?
We don't feel safe. What they say that the police are doing, I will say that they are not helping us at all.
You're an Okada rider?
I'm an Okada rider at the container over here right now. The police are not helping us at all.
And so that's what you see. We're just going to hand over back to you in the studio. But these are the pictures that we've seen. A dead body lying along the stretch of the main Accra-Kumasi highway. We've identified the person as named Cornelius Tamaklo. His family members tell us that he's between the ages of 20 and 27. As of right now, we do not know the reason that he's dead, but all we know that he has a deep cut to his left arm, and from what we've seen on the motorbike, he bled profusely and might have been the reason that he's now dead. His body is going to be carried away from here by the men from the Ghana Police Service. But if you can hear me from here at Satellite Junction on the Accra-Kumasi highway, you're hearing the sort of passion behind me as people express how they feel unsafe. Ben, if you can hear me, back to you in the studio.
Manuel Plantain, thank you so much for bringing us the scoop on that. It's given me goosebumps in the studio, basically. It's a very sad development there. And per what I heard from Alex Tamaklo, who claims to be an elder brother of Cornelius Tamaklo, who lost his life. He is aged between 26 and 27 years old. That is what I heard his older brother say. And very unfortunate incident there at Satellite Junction on the Accra-Amasaman stretch, basically. What has really happened. But we'll bring you more details on that developing story, what exactly will pan out as per police investigation.